Hey guys, welcome back for another installment of Christmas songs. I've been playing a lot of the songs where I give you only melody, but I've been doing them as chord solos or some amount of accompaniment. This one is for you to play accompaniment to. This lesson is really well beyond any kind of beginner level, but since I'm well into the 200s of lessons, some of you might be able to eat this up now. What I've got here is the chord solo written out in a jazz format. The first thing I'm going to show you, though, is just looking at the melody. This lesson is going to be a little tricky because there's lots of concepts here I've never told you about, and I do want to cover them, but I'm going to have to cover them fast because I'd like to get the whole thing done in one session and not go too long. So we'll go 5-7, 5-6, City Sidewalks. That repeats. Now 9-7-5, sevens, and then a 7-10. I've wound up in ending 1. At this point, 5 and 7, I'm repeating the beginning, so I'm going back. 9-7-5, 7-10. These 7s now I'm putting in ending 2. 7-5. And that's your verses. Now we're in the B part, Silver Bells. On the 3rd string, 6, 7, and 5 on the 2nd string. Silver Bells. Then there's an echo of some sort. Sometimes people sing it, sometimes it's just orchestral. I gave you the whole bar there, just to fill in. So you get Silver Bells and a background copy. Then in the D major 7, we'll do Silver Bells again, 2, 4, 5, and then a copy again. Then these 4, 4, 5s as we climb up. It's Christmas time in the city. Sorry, on your sheet, my 5 and 4 are on the wrong strings. 5 and 4 are both 1st string. A little typo there for you. I put the 4 on the 2nd string. You'll just have to move it now. You'll see a real tab underneath when we go to play anyway. 5, 4, 5, 5. I'm using my repeat again. Back to another chorus, Silver Bells. 6, 7, 5, echo. 2, 4, 5, echo. 4, 4, 5, climbing up again. But ending 2, 7 to 10 to 9 to 5. That's where I find you could run into this and think it's rather odd. This 10, 9 are identical to the 5, 4 you played earlier. So in terms of single notes, why do we even have another ending? And the reason being, we're going to have a different chord over there. And that's the whole melody. So you want to master that. You want to get good at finding the tune, knowing how it goes before you put the chords in. One teacher of songs like this had said you have to memorize every single chord in the song too. And he would write them out on cards and walk around his whole day memorizing them. I am way too lazy for that. I've not done that. But there are chords I want to show you. In a situation like this, some of them you're just going to learn for the situation. You may never know why you're holding 7-7-5. It's just the chord you memorized here. But more and more you want to instill them into your memory, gain an understanding of them, knowing what you're playing there so that you can learn the song and understand it better, but so you can also apply it further on. For instance, the tune starts with this 5 to 7. Those are going to be in an E9 sus4 chord. We have E, D, the flat 7, the F sharp, the 9, and the A, the sus4. The way this looks is we should have an E7, 7, 6, 7, with a 9 here. Some of you have learned that chord, where we'd have 7, 7, 7, 6, 7. And what they've done is said, let's get an A into this. So that chord's going to show up throughout the song. You might as well learn that it's an E9 sus4. Then we have the A major 7. What I'd like you to see here, as per my picture, is this actually looks like your A minor chord. That shape is being moved around. Right now it's at 5, 6, 6, where it becomes an A major. The reason for that is it's part of this large bar chord we know. There's your A bar chord major. There's an A note, at the 7th fret, 4th string. If we lower that a fret, it becomes a G sharp note at the 6th fret, the major 7 note. So then I have 5, 7, 6, 6, and then the bar on some more 5s. This song is going to feature that chord in various ways. There will be moments where we have these 6s and the 5 on the bass. Or where this 5, the A note, is played as an open A string, and then we add more notes on top. We'll use the 6s and this 5, the E note, from the A chord in the bar form. So that's what we're running into there. Learn the shape, but also know why you're there. It's A major 7. Then we have an open A note in the background just for bass, that's a timekeeper, and this 7, 9, 8, 7 chord. This looks like a D7 chord, and it is, but it's been moved up to an A position, so this is an A7 on the top set of strings. So it looks like a power chord, and then these other 2 notes on top. Right now, that shape I want you to practice. Learn it as the dominant 7. Move it to the other set of strings where it's a major 7. Exact same shape. 7, 9, 8, 7. On the top set is dominant 7. In the middle set, 7, 9, 8, 9 is a major 7. That's because of the tuning of the guitar. Those 2 chords should be in your arsenal for sure. In the moment here, we're hitting this A7, then a 7th fret note, and then moving that shape back and down a string. So it's a D major 7. A7 to D major 7. Notice my hand looks the same. You should practice that apart from the song. Make it an exercise. Melodically now, we throw a 7 in. What I like to do is just remove my 9 pinky here. So I hear this 7 under the bar. You might say, well, why shouldn't I start moving? Maybe I'll put my pinky on it and then switch strings. Either one would work. I like to hear it as part of this chord. So the A7, 7, 9, 8, 7. I've probably said those numbers backwards once or twice. To the 7th fret, the B note, to the D chord. You already have a 7 on the 2nd string, so hit it, and then hit the same chord, middle 4 strings. That's still the D major 7. So, up to here, E, 9, sus4, A major 7, repeated. Extra bass note, A7, the 7th fret, the D chord. And then this stack of 7s is a B minor 7. If you know your bar chord, it would be a 7, 9, 9, and then the bar on the 7s. That's B minor. If you pull the pinky, it's B minor 7. So you could look at this and say, well, why don't I bar that? Especially since I'm going to tell you to bar these 7s in a second. But I'd prefer to stack them up. 4 fingers. I already had my pinky on the 2nd string, so I like that continuity. Stick these fingers on the 7s and reach to the 7, the B note on the bottom. Extra bass note. And then I rotate into the bar at the top. These 7s are again a B minor 7. Add the 10 with your pinky, and then go into this E7 chord. We were talking about 7, 9, 8, 9 being major 7. You pull the middle finger out and it's dominant 7. So that's where we've landed now. B, which is a 2 chord, to E7 sus4, to E7, to another E7, which I didn't draw here, 7, 6, 7, 5. This chord is based on your C chord. If you put a pinky on the 3rd string, 3, 2, 3, 1, you have a C7 with no open strings. That's now movable. Put it at the 7th fret, and it's E7. So I got this 10, that's the A, that's a sus of the E chord, into the E7, into another E7. Again, my pinky being on the 3rd string is going to anchor my next chord. Go slide it to 8, stack another 8, and an 8 here. That's a C minor 7, just like the 7s were a B minor 7. And in fact, we're going to B minor 7. So then we get to the E7 again. Your pinky's still in position because you left it on the string. B7, B minor 7s are 2s. They lead to E7s, the 5. Some time filler. Back to the B minor 7. And then to the A major, which we talked about before. On your melody version, I didn't fill in these green notes. That's your original E sus4 again. Then this 5, 7 is the melody we heard here. Now we're back at the top. Now I've hit the C again, the C minor 7. I'm going to ending 2 where it becomes the B minor again. To the E7 again, but now an E7, flat 9 to get this high 7 note in there. You may recognize that this is your diminished shape. 7, 6, 7, 6. Diminished 7 has the exact same fingering as 7 flat 9. So this is a 7 flat 9 on that E chord. What we're looking at here is, again, this E7 shape. E, G sharp, D, and a B on top. They're going to play the top of that and put an F in it for a flat 9. So there's your 7 to a 7 flat 9, and that's leading us to this A6, 9. The 5s there belong to this A chord. That's the A and the E. You can add the 4s, the B, and the F sharp, the 6 and 9, and put them over an A. That's the target chord of this song. 5, 5, 4, 4 if I count from the top here. I might bar the 4s. So we've ended section 1 by landing on that chord. We use our E again to get us into the next section. This time we end on beat 3, 1 and 2 and 3. And we go into Silver Bells. We use that same chord shape. This is the A major 7. Play the 6 on the 3rd string. Silver. Do the sus. Up to the 5. On beat 3, the song doesn't have it, but I like to fill that beat. And then this bar is the same chord, just echo it. And we move to a D major 7. That's these barred 2s. We're going 2, 4, 5 on top with a chord at the beginning of it. And then use the same chord for the echo. We're on an E note here, and we have that dominant 7 shape we talked about earlier. It looks like a D moved up 2 frets. Then I slide my pinky to 5, pointer on 3, and grab these 4s in the middle. This is a drop 2, it's a minor 7 shape that you'll want to learn. It's based on this B minor. You see 4, 4, and 3, 4, 4, 3 with a 5 on top. 5th fret on top, that's the 7 of the chord. B7 leads to E7, so we're using that flat 9 again. 5, 4, which is where I put the wrong notes in your picture, goes into our A6, 9 again. 5, 5, 4, 4. There's your melody. This one's on the chord. Same E7 sus4. And we start it again. Silver Bells. Echo. D major. Echo. Same chord again. E7 to the B minor. This time when we get to 7, we're going to bar right across it. This is an E sus again. That's here at the 7s. Now we do that E7 with the 10 in it. We hit the 10 all alone once. Now it is the E7 with the sus. And we're going to go from that to E7. But we put an 8 on the bottom. E has gone up a fret, so it's an E7 with a flat 9. So E7 sus. E7 flat 9 to resolve on A6, 9 again. Hit the open string for time, and then a new chord, this B minor 7 again. We've seen many times, but we're going to put the sus on it, this E. just tension, no melody, which leads us back to the E7 sus4. And back to the very top. We run through everything again, and at the coda, the last time, instead of going into ending 1 or 2, we'll go down here to the coda, same chords as ending 2 though, and on the A. It just changes the timing a bit and gives you your bass note. So that's it. Hopefully you were able to follow that. I'm trusting on you to pause and review and figure out anything you need to figure out by looking at the lesson slowly. If we're doing this in person, this would take 3 or 4 lessons, and we'd work on the tab, but I'd also work on the motions, like this A7 to D major 7, and then seeing where that A7 reveals itself again as an E7 or something like that. Those things we want to build up, talk about, look at new fingerings, practice different ways to get from one chord to the other. But here I'm just going to play it now. I'll try to keep it slow. In time, this has a fairly loose swing. Sometimes they're close to straight eighths in the orchestra. Bing Crosby sings some of his swing eighths almost straight, some as almost 16th notes. So let's give it a listen. I don't know how rubato that was, or if it was just out of time. Anyway, that should give you an idea. Have a good one, guys. Merry Christmas.